Welcome to Relationship Status with me, Larissa Savage. They say a man with dreams needs a woman with vision. Today in studio we have Yale and Stacey Jameson. Welcome to Relationship Status.
Thank you so
for having
much.
us.
Yeah.
So, which words would you use to describe your partner and why?
Patience and determined and compassionate. Stacey is a very patient person, especially with me. I can sometimes be a lot, and she's patient with me. She's very compassionate. The things that she loves, especially people, children. She shows that compassion towards the things and the people that she loves. I don't know what there was a second one, but I can't remember.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I think you did a good job.
Yeah, patience and compassion. Yeah.
Okay, well, now I have to go after that. But I would say Yale is very kind, cares about people, about building relationship with people and connection with people. Kind and also very hardworking and very, very determined. And I think what we said about each other kind of reflects each other. So, yeah.
So how did you meet and what made you take that next step into marriage?
Okay, well, we've actually known each other for a very long time. We went to the same school, so we went to the same primary school, and back then it was a middle school also, and then also the same high school, and then we got together in matric. So I don't know if you want to call it high school sweethearts, does that term still exist? But yeah, so then got together in matric, and then also went to university together. And then, I don't know, I think when we were obviously young when we got together, but then as we got older, we realized that we really want to do life together. We realized that life is hard, and we want to be able to work together, to build together. And so we decided at a very, a young age to get married then. We were about 23 when we got married. I don't know if I would recommend that all 23-year-olds get married, but so far so good. And so we've been married for 6 years now. Yeah. I suppose, I don't know if that's answering the question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did the proposal happen? Was it like one of those old school where you actually went and asked for the hand in marriage, or how did that go down?
Yeah, so even before we started dating, I already approached her parents and her father in particular to ask if I can date Stacey. And then obviously as we were dating for, I think it was about 6 years, and then when I decided, okay, it's time now to get married, did the same thing, but it was obviously a bigger and more difficult conversation. And then asked the father if I can have his blessing, and Stacey's mother. And that's how that proposal initiated. And then, I think we had a very nice day on the actual proposal day. We spent some time doing like sort of a spa treatment, and then we went there's a beach out here in just outside of Port Elizabeth, Sardinia Bay. And then it was sunset sort of vibes.
Wow.
And
all
then
romantic.
all romantic. We did that whole romantic thing, and it was nice having some of our family came up as well, and we were able to celebrate together. And so sort of that was the start of our journey.
But you're also missing, when I woke up that morning, there were also balloons in the room. And so then I think that maybe that was the first hint of, okay, something's up here.
About to happen.
Oh gosh, I even forgot about that.
Wow, so you went all out.
Yeah, sure. I need to bring some of that romance back.
So you've mentioned now that you got married at a very young age, and marriage in itself can be hard. So how was the transition from normal dating now going into marriage for the two of you?
It was hectic, I would say, because I grew up with my parents, and then I'd never lived on my own before that, and I never lived with anybody else. So I went straight from my parents' home then to being married. So it was everything all at once. When we got married, we also moved from Cape Town to here to the Eastern Cape. So it was new city, new people, being a married woman, trying to figure yourself out, and then also trying to figure out, okay, well, who does cooking, who does cleaning, what does this look like for us, having to navigate all of that. So it was quite challenging, I think, in the beginning. But I think because the goal for us is connection, that was always at the forefront. And I think also just trying to honor God with our relationship. And I think through that, together we were able to navigate those challenges.
And from your side, is there anything?
Yeah, I agree. I think, when we got married this on the first year of us actually being like adults, technically, because we just finished studying, and then we stepped into the working world, and then on top of that we were married. So it was, like Stacey said, everything all at once. But I think that initially we've always wanted to do life together and go through and experience all the challenges of life and adulthood together, and not do it on our own. And so I think that because that's always something that we wanted to do, we were up for the challenge in a sense. And so it wasn't easy, and it still isn't easy, but it's very rewarding because we're doing it together. And at the same time, we want to honor and glorify God in it all. And so we've always put Him at the center, and that's sort of been our greatest help as well. Yeah.
On that note, we're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation.
Hi everyone, my name is Onge Magada. I am so happy for the services of the Foolproof Entertainment for my business. They are so professional. The work they did for my business speaks volumes, and I will highly recommend them for your business. Since we start using their products, our business has grown tremendously. Our clients have increased, we got more feet through the door, and our profits are much higher. If you're looking for a partner to grow your business, Foolproof Business is the business.
En nou sien, waar is jou gedagtes?
Jammer dat ek Dada laat skrik het, maar daar is iets graag wat ek saam Dada wil bespreek. Wat kan die wêreld aan doen?
Nadat die pa sy geld gemors het op prostituie en drank, die sê jy so werk.
Ag jongen, God, bepaar ons hier van. Amen.
Welcome back, and we're still in conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Jameson. So before the break, we got to know you a bit and how you met. But what are some of the values and principles that you have incorporated into your relationship to make it work, to make marriage work for the two of you?
I would say respect for one another, and also honoring one another, not just when we're in the room together, but also when the other one isn't in the room.
Yes.
So not saying things that's going against your spouse, or saying something that's demeaning towards them, or making them the butt of a joke or something like that. But really just honoring them in every moment and every situation. I think that's been at the forefront. Yeah,
that's very good. For me, it's communication. From the start, we've always had an open and transparent relationship, understanding sort of our backgrounds, like where we come from, family backgrounds, our previous relationships, what our goals and aspirations. Sort of, we've always spoken about that, and it makes it easier because then when you are living life, and pursuing goals and pursuing sort of your objectives and dreams that you set for you, you do that together. And so communication has been something that we've always based our relationship on, and I think that's one of the most important principles that we've continued to keep. Yeah.
The two of you are now 6 years into your marriage. So we all know that no marriage is moonshine and roses. We all have our ups and downs. So what are some of the challenges that you have faced and how did you overcome it?
A couple of the challenges that we faced is we've both, because like we mentioned, we got married quite young at 23. We transitioned into work and adult life. But also we are quite determined to pursue our studies in our field of expertise. So throughout this last 6 years, we've had phases in this last 6 years where Stacey is studying and working, and then I'm working, and then there would be phases where I was studying and working, and Stacey's just working. So it's sort of I think studies, work life, and then our relationship, that's sort of been obstacles, because it means we had to then juggle and juggle all these different things in our life. So I think the way we've overcome that obstacle is to prioritize each other and prioritize our life. So we plan and be more very intentional about when we are setting time for this, when we are setting time for that. And specifically in our relationship, we were intentional about setting time to spend with one another, whether it's going on a date or it's just having supper together, just so that we can always stay centered with one another. Yeah.
That's good.
Earlier you mentioned that you moved straight from your parents' house into your marital home. And they usually say that you don't know somebody until you live with them. So, what are some of the things that you had to learn about your partner when you moved in together?
Yeah, well, I will say, I mean, I've heard horror stories of people's husbands and how they are, and I feel like Yale is really not like that, which I think I was really blessed, because Yale is someone who he will cook and do washing if washing needs to be done, and go grocery shopping, you know. So I feel like there is a sense of partnership there. But I think something that I had to kind of realize, okay, we see things differently here and we do things differently here, is that I'm someone who likes things on their place and clean, and you know, the keys go here and the shoes go there. And Yale is someone who's maybe just a little bit laid back when it comes to things at home and where they are. And so I think it's been a constant navigation of, okay, sometimes I need to learn to just let go a little bit. It's okay. Nobody's coming to inspect the house. It's fine if things are, you know, out of place. But then he also needed to learn, okay, maybe because Stacey cares about things being on its place, maybe he should just be a little bit more intentional about packing things away, for example. So I think that was something that we've had to navigate. Yeah.
Definitely.
Anything else from your side that you had to maybe learn to love about her?
Yeah, that things need to be on place all the time. I appreciate it now because it brings order and structure, and not only in the household but also for your mind and for your for your mind. So having that structure does help, but it wasn't easy to learn to love it. I'm still learning to love that.
We're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation.
I was busy cleaning.
Cleaning?
Yes. You can see the house is spotless like it is every day.
But look how is the dishes.
It's clean, Michael.
No, waste one.
I just finished cooking. That's why there's some
You're
dishes
talking
in.
nonsense to me.
Why are you acting like this? You keep shouting every day.
Every time when I come from work, my food is not even ready.
But it's finishes in the oven, Michael.
But why is the dishes not even clean?
I just finished
Where have you
cooking.
been for the whole day?
I wasn't cleaning the house, Michael.
Told you about disrespecting me in my own house.
Michael, please. I didn't do anything
And why are you dressed up like a slut? Are you entertaining other men? While I have to work my ass off?
What are you talking about? Don't hurt me, please!
Shut up! Useless piece of rubbish.
En nou sien, waar is jou gedagtes?
Jammer dat ek Dada laat skrik het. Maar daar is iets graag wat ek saam met Dada wil bespreek. Wat kan die wêreld aan doen?
Nadat die pa sy geld gemors het op prostituie en drank, die sê jy so werk.
Ach, Here, God, bewaar ons hier, Vader. Amen.
Welcome back to Relationship Status with me, Larissa Savage. So, people sometimes they start dating young, they're high school sweethearts, or they start dating at the older age and so forth. But what, from your experience now, the two of you are fortunate enough to know each other from primary school and you've built a relationship over the years. But what is your opinion on the dating standards these days?
I think that these days people are scared to be vulnerable. People are scared to put in hard work and effort. I think people are also scared because they've seen relationships around them fail, and so they don't want to get hurt again. And so people are accustomed to a culture of going through different people and different partners, and it may be something that they think is going to help them and help fix something. But in actual sense, it makes things a lot worse. So yeah, I think people are scared to be vulnerable and to have actual intimacy with another person. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed that nowadays people are afraid to commit, you know, and so adding to what Stacey's saying, I think that because they're afraid to be vulnerable and they maybe have seen, obviously nowadays there's a lot more access to information and a lot more access to people's lives through social media, and so we think there's this perception that marriage doesn't work, and so people then are afraid to completely commit.
Yes.
And then they also aren't vulnerable with their partners. So I think it's mainly because of a selfish nature also. People get involved in relationships to satisfy sort of their own desires and their own feelings, but relationships is about serving others, you know, and humbling your own selfish desires so that you can then satisfy the needs of the next person.
Yeah. And I also think like a misconception that you need to be happy all the time, and striving towards happiness, when I don't think that should be the real goal. It should be being content with each other and knowing that not every day is going to be happy and glad and sunshine and roses, but being able to stick with the person when you know, okay, this is actually a really hard season, but you're able to put in that work together. Yeah.
So what does marriage in itself mean to the two of you?
Yeah, it's a good question. Marriage, we believe in God and we believe in Jesus Christ, and we are Christians. So for us, we believe that marriage represents the gospel of Jesus Christ, through the sacrificial love that we have for one another. In the Bible, it does mention sort of Paul writes in Ephesians 5, you know, that famous scripture like wives submit to your husbands, that people like to always quote, but it also says like husbands love your wife as Christ loved the church. And so there's this comparison that is used in scripture that compares marriage to the love that God had for us. And so I think that for me then says that marriage is held on the highest pedestal in terms of relationships. So having a relationship with one another, or with your friend, or with your partner, or your girlfriend, or boyfriend at the time, it's great. But then the next step is marriage, because it shows that you are truly committed to that person, and in that way represents the full gospel. And in the same way, the gospel shows us what marriage should look like. So submitting to one another, loving one another, and sacrificing yourself to basically get them to be the best versions of themselves and who they created to be.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
That's a great answer. I'm not going to add anything to that.
Okay.
So what word of motivation or encouragement can you give to other young couples or just youngsters in general?
I think what's important is to prepare for marriage. I think I love sport, and I'm going to use a sport example. If you're going to go run the marathon, or like the Two Oceans Marathon or the Comrades, you're not just going to go wake up one morning and put on your tackies and you're going to go for that marathon. I can tell you're going to get not even halfway, and then you're going to start feeling pains, and you might pick up some injuries, and you might not finish. And so a lot of the time nowadays, couples, they rush into marriage, and they don't realize that it takes work and it takes preparation. And so just as for the marathon, you have to prepare for it, you have to you have to prepare for it so that you don't get hurt or get injured, when you're in it. And that's why some marriages don't work out and people get divorced, because I think a lot of the time they're not prepared. And so preparation for me would be, if you decide with your partner that this is we want to do this forever and make this commitment, then it's important to have discussions about what that looks like. Discuss your family backgrounds, how that may affect your opinion and your vision of marriage, your roles and responsibilities. Sort of talk about your finances, talk about your sexual desires, if it may be, because all those things will affect your marriage, and so I say the 3 F's.
The 4 F's.
No, not 4 F's. There's 3 F's that I think are very important to address and to prepare for marriage. The first F being like faith. I think important to discuss what your faith, your beliefs are, and so that it's aligned with one another, because that is a source of a major conflict in marriage. Family. What does family look like and what's important to you? And then finances. And I feel like those 3 F's, if you don't discuss that and prepare for marriage, then those will be a major source of conflict and can be detrimental. Yeah.
Definitely. I actually like that about the 3 F's.
There's a 4th one, but
but we can't say it on TV. It's okay.
You do not.
Yeah.
And from your side?
I think even before marriage, I think advice I would give to someone is to work on themselves, because people go into relationships trying to fill a missing link within them, or trying to fulfill a need, but they want the other person to fulfill that need. And I think it's important to know yourself, to build on yourself, to know what your values are, what you are striving for in life, to go for therapy if you need to go for therapy, to get healing if you need that, so that you're not looking for the other person to complete you, but that you can go into a relationship knowing that, okay, both of you are at a healthy place, and then you can build from there. We know that that's not always the case with relationships, and then it makes it even harder, I think, within marriage, because marriage doesn't fix anything. It actually highlights all of your insecurities even more, because you need to be vulnerable, and then it puts it on display. So I think if it can be that part of that preparation, then is also then working on yourself so that you know, okay, you're presenting or putting your best foot forward before you then even get married. Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. Because most people, they go into even a relationship with all that baggage into a relationship and into a marriage, and then they kind of make it the other person's problem now. So now it's your problems, it's the other person's problems, and now it creates bigger baggage. So it's true, it doesn't solve anything. So it's important to first work on yourself. But I want to thank the two of you for coming on the show and sharing your story and your journey. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And may you continue to support one another and to fulfill one another.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that's it from me, Larissa Savage. Until next time.